Here's a very simple system. I got one sitting out on top of the cooler out there. It's our very simple countertop unit. It's a good starter way to get involved with drinking good water. We use the same medias that the home unit has in it to remove all the different chemicals like fluoride and chlorides and chlorine and VOCs and THMs and all those nasty things. And we're still ionizing the water. We're still alkalizing the water. We're adding something to it. And here's the stages, basically. We use a Bramic high calcium carbon in the first stage, which is down here in the bottom, which removes heavy metals, radioisotopes, and on top of its main reasons for fluoride. And then we use KDF material. It's a patented material that's very effective. It's right here. And when these things go through airport scanners, if any of you are taking them to the airport, take them out and put them in a different thing like you would your computer. Because they're going to go in your bag to look for it. Because this KDF looks like shrapnel to them, because it's the material it's made out of. And then the carbon looks like gunpowder, and this looks like BBs, you know what I mean? So they freak out. It looks like we made a bomb here. I've gotten a call from TSA one time in Alaska. It was hilarious. You know, I'm like, what do you want? So they gave them my card, and they called me. So can't you package this a better way? And but this KDF is an amazing material. KDF removes chlorine. It removes bacteria, iron, fungus, algae, hydrogen sulfide, and most heavy metals. So this stuff, we use it in all of our filtration. We use it in our home unit, we use it in our undersink unit, and we use it in our drinking system. Now the next material we use is this carbon here, and we use a catalytic carbon. It's a pretty pricey carbon, but it removes chloramines. And almost all carbons that you're going to see in your refrigerator filter and your Brita filter, none of them touch chloramines. The only thing they ever talk about is chlorine, because it's the easiest thing to get out. So that is very effective at removing those other nasty things as long as VOCs and chlorine. And then we go into the tourmaline stage, which is the material that we were talking about that makes the negative ORP, that puts the energy in the water, that puts all the electron donor into the water, the negative ORP. And then we go to this next mineral, which is far infrared, which is the Fe2 and Fe3 I was talking about, the ferrous iron, which creates the infrared rays. And now this helps cluster the water and make the water smaller. And then in the next stage, we add minerals. We add calcium, magnesium, potassium, and a touch of sea salt. Only about 60 parts per million of those combined, which isn't a lot, but it's enough to give the water a delivery to the cell. You need some minerals in the water, or the water will bounce off the cell like washing a freshly waxed car. You'll see the water beat up. But just having that little bit of mineral in the water, it makes the hydration. Remember I was talking about my heart condition? Well, after talking with several professionals, I found out that not only was I drinking ultra pure water that you'd use for a kidney dialysis machine, I demineralized myself. I stole all the electrons out of my body. So now I didn't have enough electrons for proper heart function. I didn't have enough minerals for proper conductivity. So my cardiologist used to say to me all the time, he didn't know any of this stuff, but he said to me, he says, Leo, you have a really strong heart or you wouldn't be here. He says, you just have a bad wiring system, and I don't know why. So here, take these pills. So standard of care, right, for me. And when I got better, I haven't seen my cardiologist for almost 6 years. And had to go in for a colonoscopy last year. I was recommended to get one. So I went in to see my cardiologist to get a clearance because I had a prior heart condition. And he had already dropped me as a patient. You know, it's automatic. I haven't been there in years. They drop you, so I had to re-sign all my paperwork up again. And I'm sitting on his table, and he's a younger guy than me. And he's a really good cardiologist in our area. He's very well sought after. And he says to me, he says, how you been? Haven't seen you in a while. And I said, been really good. He goes, you look good. Let me listen to your heart. Listen to my heart. He goes, heart sounds great. He goes, starts reading my list of meds off his computer. Are you on digoxin? Are you on flecodine? Are you on this blood pressure medication? Are you on this cholesterol medication? I said, no, 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 no. And he went, how'd you do it? Because he knew I was really sick. And I said, well, I don't know if I got enough time to explain it to you. And he looked at his watch and he called the girl up front and he goes, I got 45 minutes, go. And I told him. And he laughed and he said, immaculate recovery. And I said, that's what we're calling it? And he goes, what else can I say? He goes, but when can you come to my house and put one of these systems in? So my cardiologist has one of my coolers, or has many, he has like 5 in his whole office, and he has my drinking system at his home. So that was pretty cool. That was like a real testimonial to me, you know.
Has he done any referrals?
No, not a one, not a one.
He didn't
didn't buy one of your systems either, did he?
Yeah, he bought it. Yeah, he bought it. Yeah, he bought it. He bought this one right here. This is my most doctor-recommended unit here. This is our PHRO 1000. And a lot of people confuse this because we were talking about reverse osmosis and how it stripped the minerals out of my body and it caused me to have some issues. But the one thing about reverse osmosis is an excellent way of cleaning water. It's cheaper than distillation because you got to run a heating element, right? Both are very excellent ways of cleaning water. Well, reverse osmosis actually take it all the way down to, well, we'll go here. It takes the water down to 1/5 millionth of an inch when you use the right membrane. So fluoride isn't a problem to get out. Pharmaceutical drugs residue isn't a problem to get out of the water. Reverse osmosis will remove all these things with ease, and then whatever can't get through it goes down the drain. So that's the awesome part about reverse osmosis. If you took the membrane that we use, the type we use, the film tech membrane, and you just took a foot of it and you stretched it out the size of the Pacific Ocean, the pore would only be the size of that dime. That's how small the pores are. So remember we talked about the hydrogen molecule being the smallest. The only thing that gets through this is water molecules. Now there's other reverse osmosis out there that give reverse osmosis a bad name because they use a really loosely fitting membrane, so it produces a lot of water fastly, and it doesn't go down to a small enough molecule that will remove things all the way down to viruses and things like we do. So reverse osmosis is an excellent pre-filter. I highly recommend it as my #1 choice, and it removes all the nasty things we were talking about with ease, and then we put back in calcium, potassium, magnesium, a little bit of sea salt, and then we hit it with an energy, with the tourmaline that we were talking about, the negative ORP. Then we hit it with the far infrared, so we break down the cluster of the water, and we put energy into more energy and structure of the water, and then we use an alkaline stabilizer. Yeah. Yes?
Is this a whole house system? Or?
No, this is just a drinking system that would go in your kitchen.
Right.
We make them whole house. It's a very custom make, but we have done it. And but no, the system I showed earlier, the RX, the big tall units that were the remove fluoride and all that, that would be more of a whole house system.
What do you
Yes.
store the water in?
There's a storage tank that comes with this, and sorry that's not in the picture. It's only about a gallon, so it's like the size of a little bit bigger than a football. But this system here has a 100-gallon per day membrane in it, so it makes up to 4 gallons an hour. So it keeps up with you pretty good. And if you need more storage, we can add it. We can add it.
Do you need this in addition to the whole house, or do you have?
Yes, the difference between this and the whole house doesn't put the negative ORP in, which is the electrons, and the whole house system isn't proficient at removing pharmaceutical drugs from the water. We haven't found a way to do that yet, to catch them. Some of our medias will grab a few different pharmaceuticals, but we're out of like the 20 that we're dealing with, we're only grabbing like 2 or 3. So it does a lot more. Yes, ma'am?
Where do you connect the whole house system?
The whole house system would be where your main water line comes in. She asked the question, how do you connect the whole house system? You connect it where your main water line comes in. Sometimes it's in a garage or a utility room or a basement, and it would be connected there. And this is a new system that's going to be available. It's very awesome. It's very compact. I built this for a company in Canada. It has the KDF in it. The water goes up through the KDF. It goes down through a double vortex, spins left, spins right, has a really strong magnetic field in the middle. And this is amazing at structuring water and keeping the calcium from building up. So it acts like a water softener. And people are very interested in this system. And we're making our first ones next week. We have almost everything in but these Vortex pieces, and the mold manufacturer hates me, and he said that it was the most difficult thing he's ever made and he would never do it again. So I can't wait till the molds are done. That's what I'm waiting. That's the only thing I'm waiting on is the molds for these Vortexes, because they're Fibonacci. They're the golden mean, both of them.
Is this whole house, or is this?
Yeah, it's whole house. It's whole house.
And it'll do everything?
No, it doesn't take out drugs.
Counter one does?
Yeah, it won't take out drugs or fluoride, but it will remove chlorine, chloramines, and heavy metals.
So first this eliminates a water softener?
Yes. Really, he asked if it eliminates a water softener. And
What do you call this system?
it's called the water management system.
How much is it?
This system here is $1,200. And right here is something you can't see. It's one of the things that the Canadian company that I'm working with had developed a product that would save you on your water bill. It was a variable flow restrictor. It's an awesome product, but it's a very simple product. And he says, I want you to build something really cool around my flow restrictor. So he gave me free reign to build what I wanted. And so I did. I built this. But the flow restrictor will save you 20% on your water bill and your sewage bill, because even at 12 gallons per minute, it's reducing 20%, or 1 gallon per minute, because it's a variable flow restrictor. And we put one in his house. He's got a monster house. And the water department's been out, Toronto Hydro's been out twice, and once they replaced his meter because they thought something was seriously wrong because his water bill's very, very high. And it was a much bigger one, but yeah, so this was something we just developed. It took us 2 years to develop it, and like I said, we have all the parts in my warehouse except these little spirals here, and I'm just chomping at, you know, I call the guy every day, do you have my spirals done? And so.
How much water do you waste? Because I live in a country where the water bills are very high. So
Mhm.
using these systems for my house or whatever, I know that the
With the reverse osmosis PHR 1000, you're going to depending on the temperature of the water. This is important. In Florida, you waste 1 gallon to 1 gallon made, and some people run the drain water out into their yard and water their bushes with it and stuff, which is a good use for it. If it's colder, sometimes it can be 2 to 1 because the membrane's tighter. But if it's colder, the water, it makes it better.
for the house system.
The house system regenerates once every 12 days. That's it. And it only uses 18 gallons of water to regenerate. So it would be like flushing a toilet 10 times or something like that. Yes? Yes, we have well water systems as well. Most of the ones we're talking about are city. The question was, is our system for well? It can be for well depending on your test results. I like to see what your well water tests up at. Depending on what you have, yeah. Some well, like in New Jersey, it was a toxic soup, you know. In different places, you got to deal with iron and different. Yeah, we test it first. I have a company called National Laboratories. They'll send you a kit in the mail. You freeze the pack, you fill it up the vials, and you ship it out, and you're good to go. And I'm going to get through this, and I want to show you guys a video real quick that's only about 8 minutes. Anybody hear of Dr. Alex Carroll? He was another Nobel Prize recipient. And he won the Nobel Prize in 1912. He said the cell is immortal. It's merely the fluid it floats in that degradates it. He's the one that did the study on chicken heart cells. And he kept them alive for, I think, 28 years. And they just stopped doing the study and they died. But the chickens live, what, 7, 8 years? And he also said the secret of life is to feed and nourish the cells and let them flush their toxins and waste. So if we can hydrate the cell on the inside, we can flush the toxins and waste on the inside. So we're not trapping all that. All of our products are NSF and water quality approved. Everything's made in our warehouse in Florida, so it's made in America. And I want to show you this video.
Something big is happening here, and the result could be nothing less than a new kind of water with unprecedented health benefits. pH Prescription LLC has developed filtration systems that deliver structured, mineralized water designed to keep our cells healthy, fight disease, and slow the aging process. pH Prescription's founder is Leo Szymborski. He's devoted his career to making water better for everyone it touches.
My goal is, with pH Prescription, is to make it available, make it cost-effective to the homeowner so they can put this in their home or office. We have several different types of ways of doing it, but making it available so people can have a good glass of water, can bathe in good water.
And even though Arlo, Joey, and Susan don't know each other, they're among the growing legion of fans for structured, mineralized alkaline water from pH Prescription.
So it makes it a very small molecule, which is much easier to penetrate into the cell and actually hydrate and detox the cell.
Susan McPherson has extensive training in metabolic and nutritional medicine and owns and operates medical spas in Florida and Massachusetts. She says pH Prescription's water can have a big impact on health and beauty.
So it actually keeps our cells cleaner, it keeps our cells healthier because it's constantly removing all the toxins.
Nancy Swanson got to know pH Prescription water when her son Joey was diagnosed with brain cancer. Surgeons removed most but not all of the tumor in his brain.
In March of 2012, that residual tumor that was left in the brainstem started to grow. That's when we actually got the alkaline water at that point. We got the alkaline water and the gift, fulvic and humic acid. And we started Joey on those two products. And he showered in it, he drank it, he brushed his teeth with it. And in July of 2012, they couldn't find any live cancer cells. And so we went back again in October of 2012, and they still could not find any live cancer cells. So we went in January of 2014, and they said his residual tumor is almost completely diminished. And there's no live cancer cells. He's doing great. He's regaining strength on the right side of his body. He plays baseball. He does everything a normal 6-year-old child does.
I wanted water that I could take a shower in, take a bath in, drink, that wasn't hurting me and might even be helping me.
Riding on the city of New Orleans. Arlo Guthrie is famed for his folk songs and his focus on social injustice. The environment, including water, is a big concern for him. He has pH prescription water at his homes in Florida and New England, and on all the buses he uses on tour.
Water is scarce even though it's everywhere. And it's scarce because it's toxified, it's all chemicalized, it's all screwed up and made into something it's not only not useful, it's really bad. There's ways to get all that stuff out. And that's what these guys are working on. That's why I'm excited, because it's not just a matter of water, it's a matter of making it available in a way that is not only just useful, but healthier.
Water can keep us healthy, and by proper hydration, by bringing minerals into the body, by flushing out toxins from the cells. If the water cannot penetrate the cell, then it cannot hydrate the cell, or it cannot flush the toxins out of the cell.
pH Prescriptions water has attracted the attention of cellular health experts like Dr. Jerry Tennant. He's pioneered research into energy medicine and the concept that every cell in our body needs a certain level of voltage to be truly healthy.
Chronic disease occurs when we lose the ability to make new cells at work. And one of the bases of making new cells is having enough voltage to do it.
Dr. Tennant says the right kind of structured water can provide electrons to maintain that voltage.
What you want with your water is, first of all, you want it to be an electron donor and not an electron stealer. Because when you drink water, it's electron stealer, then it actually removes electrons from other systems in your body, and that's a bad thing, of course. So you want the water that you drink to be alkaline, which means it has electrons in it.
Dr. Tennant also says you want water that's truly clean, which means that it does not contain fluoride or chlorine or pharmaceutical residues.
There are systems that will take those out, but it's not done by our city. I spent a number of years trying to find water that meets the criteria that we've just discussed. Water that is alkaline, water that is clean and that it doesn't have microorganisms or chemicals or other contaminants in it, and water that is microclustered so that it's readily absorbed into the cells. And the best water I've ever found comes from a company called pH Prescription, and it meets all of those criteria. And so that's what I use in my home and in my clinic and recommend to all of my patients.
pH Prescription's filtration systems incorporate the results of Leo's years of research into water at a cellular level.
When you drink alkaline water that's full of electrons, full of energy, it helps charge the body's cells. It's donating something to the body, just like a charger would donate something to a battery. When we're fully charged, we just feel excellent, our cells are moving around. You can look at blood on a dark field microscope, and somebody that has a very low voltage or they're acidic, they call them acidic at that point, or acidosis, their blood's all clumped together. When they drink alkaline water, or they do the things they juice, or they do the things that are healthy for the body, you can see that blood very buoyant. You can see around every cell, it has a charge. You can actually, it looks like a halo around each cell, and they're not stuck together. They're carrying way more oxygen for your body, and they're making us much healthier.
Leo says it's also important that after the water is purified, minerals like calcium, potassium, magnesium, and sodium are added back in to help the nervous system function well. And he has a warning about structured antioxidant water that's being marketed in bottles.
The problem today with structured antioxidant water, you'll see it on a lot of bottles and bottled water and different on the shelves, but the electrons leave. They don't last very long. The electrons in the water have a shelf life of about 48 hours and then they're gone. And same with fruits and vegetables. If you leave your fruits and vegetables, when you fresh pick, they're the best, but if you leave them on the counter, you can watch them basically rot away in front of you. So the water has a life. Living water is just like a living fruit or vegetable.
Physicians like Dr. Deborah DeMarta agree that water can have a big impact on health, especially when it comes to supporting the beneficial bacteria in our digestive tract, which accounts for up to 80% of our immune system.
So if you're drinking water that has chlorine in it and fluorides, which are also toxic to the gut, then you're killing off these good bacteria and you're having an immune dysfunction. If you're drinking water that's not only pure and clean and bioavailable to the cells, but is also an antioxidant, you're decreasing your risk of possible future events.
In fact, its proponents say the antioxidant aspect of structured alkaline water could lead to longer, healthier lives.
The water functions as an antioxidant because it's an electron donor. And what it does is it donates an electron to kind of put out the fire of free radical damage, because free radicals steal, they're electron stealers. And this, oxidative stress or free radical damage causes inflammation. And this chronic inflammation causes chronic disease. So the water is donating the electron and putting out the oxidative fire. And obviously there are health benefits from that.
So pH prescription looks to be well on the way to achieving the goal of bringing a new kind of truly healthy water to all of us.